Hey there, and welcome back to the video series. So in the previous video we created the create route and tested it with PostMan. So let's create a couple of more routes. Let's take the read routes, because then we can create products and we can test them out and get the output using the read route. So if we start by taking this read all products, I think I'm going to copy some of the code from this previous route because we can reuse a good deal of it. So we need to change something, of course, but we need to change the post, of course, because we are not sending data anymore. It should be a GET request, so we change this to GET. And we can keep the same route because it's basically the slash that will tell the API that we want to get all the products. Okay, so it's going to be like this. That is going to be the route, so it's the same as the create route, but it is using the get HTTP method. Okay, so what should we do here? We got the error handling and the response already set up, so if something goes wrong we will send a 500 and an error message, and we will also send the data back when we get it. So what we can do here is we can reuse our Mongoose product here, and then we can use the method .find. That will allow us to get all the entries or all the documents from this collection. So that is basically it for this route right now. So it's going to find all the products, and if we test it out we can take a browser if we want to do that. We got our MongoDB Atlas here, and we have the welcome route here. So if we go to a browser, we can say API/products, and now we can already see that we get data from the database, and this is not using PostMan. This is just a fast way to test the read route, because by default the browser will interpret this as a GET request, so we can use this to actually see the output. Okay, so if we should make a quick test of if we can insert an extra product here. Let's just make a product 2, a bit more expensive, not in stock. So we save that using the post request. So now we have we should have 2 products. If we head back to the browser and run it again, we can see we got 2 results from the database. So our read request or the GET request is working. So that is really cool. So the next one, if we want to take a specific one, so if we have an ID, we can see that we have an ID generated by MongoDB, and we can use this to pass to the API to fetch this particular product. So if we take this get route here, and let's just see here, it is mostly the same. Now we need to attach the ID, but the rest is pretty much the same. The only minor change we need to do is that we should use the function called find by ID, and then we need to pass along the ID that we got in the request. So we can take the request and we can take the parameters and the ID, because when we test this out in PostMan, we can, or in the browser, we will pass this ID into the parameters in the URL. So if we save this and we go back to our browser here, we can actually type in an ID into our browser, and let's see if it finds product 1, and it does. So then we get a specific product from the API, and the same way we should be able to get product 2, yeah, from the database. So that is what we mean by attaching the ID to the parameters on the request. Okay. The last one we could do is if we want to find all the products that are in stock, let's say that, because we have a property in the database that is called in stock, and we also have it in our definition in Mongoose, this in stock Boolean data type. If we want to make a route that will get all the products that are in stock, let's just see, let's go back here. Then we can go to the routes and we can reuse again some of the code. And then we can change this to read all. Whoop. Get all products that are in stock. So again, there should be a GET request because we are fetching data from the API in the database, and we can call this in stock. Then we need to change this code here because we are not getting an ID passed along. We are getting, it's kind of a hard-coded route because it's just taking all the products that are in stock. So we need to find all the products that have the in stock property set to true. So we can do this by specifying this in the find method by doing specifying which property it is and the value. So we specify that in stock, and that means that the in stock property should be set to true, as we specify here. So let's test it out. We can see that if we type in stock, we actually get an error. It says cast to object ID failed for value. Oops, probably because it is being confused by this route here because they are pretty much alike, a GET request. And assuming this is an ID, so it is thinking that in stock is an ID. The way we could handle this is by change the order of how they are interpreted. So we have the in stock first, then it's gonna run this first, and then if it's not the in stock, it will assume it is an ID. So if we change the order and run it again, we can see we get product 1 that is in stock. And if we modify this, let's just go to our MongoDB Atlas and modify this to false. I'm just changing the data directly from the database, so we can see that we have no products that are in stock right now. If we run it again, we don't get any data. So it will take this property and query the database to see what products we actually have that are in stock. Okay, so that is a rundown of the read routes that will use the get HTTP method. Okay, so next time, next video, we will do the update and the delete, so stay tuned for this. Okay, hope you make this work and have fun with this. Bye bye.